That's better. Alright, just 1 second, my dears. Alright, and hello, and good evening, my lovelies. I am Jax Devora, a fantasy author, and you have stumbled across my writing stream. If you've never been here before, it's quite simple. If you're on Blue Sky right now, consider clicking that little link. That'll take you straight to our little YouTube chat. Let me see if I can find the chat actually right now. I'm just scrambling all over the place right now. There it is. Docs. Chat, chat, chat. There you are. Hello, chat. Cryptic has joined us. Cryptic says hello. I say hello back. So what happens when you click the link? You get delivered right to our chat in YouTube. You can say whatever you like in chat, so long as it's doesn't weird out the other participants, and so long as it doesn't violate YouTube TOS. There is always going to be a little bit of an icebreaker for those of you who are shy. The icebreaker is a writing-related-ish question, and it's designed to basically help you ease into things and just sort of feel comfortable talking about yourself and with our lovely, lovely participants. Today's icebreaker is, what's the wildest idea you've ever had? So I'm talking in terms of a story. What is the wildest story you've ever had? I feel like I've asked this before, but you know, I will come back to this and rant because I have a rant. But anyway, launching back into the explanation. In less than half an hour, we will begin the first of 3 word sprints. What are word sprints, you might ask? Word sprints are pretty simple. They are periods of time in which you write as much as possible, traditionally speaking anyway. Here at Night Writes, we like to take things a little bit fast and loose, so long as you do whatever that happens to enrich your life in some way. So you can write, you can edit, you can plan, you can meditate on ideas, you can do art, you can do video games, whatever you'd like to do, so long as you spend 20 minutes doing it. And at the end of the 20 minutes, ours are 20 minutes anyway, word sprints could be however long that you want. At the end of that period of time, we take a break and talk about our progress, and then you get up and do whatever you need to do. I kind of chill out and rant at you to encourage you to actually get up and do whatever you need to do. And we repeat that for 3 times. Pretty simple, straightforward, right? So anyway, I have a rant. I mean, I have many rants. I could talk about a lot of different things because apparently this week has been crazy. In terms of, and I'm not even talking about personally, I'm talking about apparently there's a parasitic outbreak and also the sky is on fire. So that's a thing. For those of you who don't know, I live in New York City. So it's, yes, Mom Donnie is great. He's doing fantastic things for the city. However, apparently Canada's on fire. And when Canada is on fire, we get plumes of smoke. So we're, you know, I wouldn't say we're sitting pretty because it is 100 degrees out there and the air quality is so shitty I can't even use the air conditioner. First world problems, I know. But, yeah, it's bad. Like, I have my computer set up right next to the window and the sky wasn't super bad until the very, like, within the past, I'd say, I want to say like around 5 o'clock, a storm rolled in, and right behind it, so did the smoke clouds. So the sky looks wine colored, and normally it would be at sunset, but I mean, like, it looks like it's more tea colored, which is alarming. You can't really see the city from where I am. I live just outside it, to be honest with you. So you can see the city from where I live, and you can't today. uh, and I kind of feel like my throat is made of sandpaper. So it's great. It really is. And then of course you have the whole outbreak thing. So, like, and of course, it's in the middle of summer, and I just got comfortable enough to eat lettuce again. So now it's sort of like I'm taking every single day, being like, okay, is that just gas because of something else I ate, or is it happening now? We are coming up to to the end of week number 1 of that. So I think I'm fine, but if I have to like cancel all the writing sprints for a week, you guys know why, and you also know who to blame, because I am just about ready to snap. Like, I've been on the like, I don't talk about politics on social media because, number one, I don't feel that I say that even though even as if it's not like the number one topic, one of the 3 topics that I end up talking about on the stream, but like, I consider it counterproductive to go online and be angry all the time. Like, it's there was this one time I remember distinctly. A friend of mine who lives out in California went into a Starbucks and tried to. This was during not during Black Lives Matter, but just before it. She she gave her name as a political, like, you know how they ask for your name, they write it on the cup and so forth. She gave like a political statement, and then she went on Facebook and she posted this rant about how the barista gave her weird looks whenever she asked for this political statement to be made and so forth. And then I was like, all you've done is harass a minimum wage worker. You have helped exactly nobody. And it's like, it's the performance of it. Like, the performance of anger and stuff like that. I don't find that to be very productive. I prefer volunteer work, and or I always miss the No Kings protest somehow. I have to be a little bit better about that, but like, volunteer somewhere, go help out, do some community outreach, so that kind of thing. Like, just do something offline that's not on the internet. I'm sorry, like, I don't. At most, you could say talking about politics online is educational and helps enlighten people. And I do know the value of it because I had a lot of my journey of unlearning of a lot of really toxic ideas because I came from a really toxic background. And I was never able to learn about things outside of my little bubble until I found the internet, essentially. So I do know the value, but a lot of people don't take it in a way, or don't approach it in a more educational way. Like, and now, don't get me wrong, I don't believe in policing anybody else's account. If it gets to be like, I'm wound up, I'm anxious, what you're saying is like not really helping me in the moment, I can just unfollow, no problem. But it's when you start getting to have this expectation of that you have to talk about politics online, or that you have to enunciate, you're essentially policing other people's political stances, and in the sense that you demand people on your own side to state their beliefs or whatnot. That's when it starts to cross into a non-productive state. or when you start to use political platforms as a way of, or political ideas as a way of asserting that you are somehow superior, that's when it starts to be blah. But my main point is I don't talk about this stuff online because I personally would much prefer offline action, and I don't consider it. If I wrote my political beliefs on Blue Sky, it means nothing to anybody else. That's why I talk about bees, because like bees make me happy, and I don't mind talking about bees, and it's something for anybody else. But like, if I talk about politics online, then I get upset. I'm not doing anything. I'm not advancing anything for myself. It's like a whole thing. So, long story short, I don't normally talk about this stuff, but I've been angry for the past 2 years for one thing or another. And I am very close to snapping at this point because, like, the outbreak is wholly preventable. And it would have, or at least it would have been wholly preventable if we had the regulations in place to monitor this kind of thing, number one. We did last year, we do not this year. And number two, if we enforced more regulations on corporate industrial farming. Industrial farming is a lot of the problem in our food supply in general. Whenever people comment on the food quality of the United States, it's entirely because our food supply has been corporatized. And it's very frustrating, and this is essentially the end result of allowing corporate greed to infiltrate food. That, and I mean, at the very least, we're no longer putting lead in baby formula anymore. That was a problem of the 80s. But it's not much of a step up. But the reason why I'm pissed off is because it's like the absolute confirmation that nobody gives a shit. Because food is a necessity. Uh-oh. What is this? Sorry, I just got distracted. Food is a necessity, and yet we are feeding our the common population literal absolute shit. So what does that, what can you say? We're doing great. It is 15 minutes in and I've already gone off on a political rant, but that was on my mind, to be honest with you. And then the fires are obviously climate change, so... But neither of these were the rant. It's hilarious, and I will get to the rant in just a second. Cryptic says, for the icebreaker, I'm not sure if the wildest idea I've ever had is Death of Time, Work in Progress, or the one I'm planning on writing for tonight. Do tell about the one that you're planning on writing for tonight, because that could be... I know that you have a whole stable of them, so now I'm kind of curious. But anyway, the rant. Okay. Now, don't hate on me, I know ACAB, but sometimes I like to watch vintage media, and there's this channel that I follow that talks about old one-season wonders, essentially. And one of them... So 1976 apparently was a very weird year. Like, this channel listed off a bunch of one-season wonders from different years, and 1976 for some reason had 2 cop shows. So here's where we're going with this. It had 2 cop shows in which a police force gets an android cop secretly, and like an experimental android cop, and shenanigans ensue. And one of them is I've known about for quite some time because it is like a buddy cop comedy. I've never actually seen it, but it has graced the presence of another of like the worst of the worst podcast, TV podcasts that I listen to sometimes. And that one is called Holmes and Yo-Yo. Apparently it got super big overseas. But the other one is literally just called Future Cop. And I decided to sit down because it just kind of intrigued me. I sat down and I watched an episode. And all of the episodes are actually online on YouTube. And I'm slightly angry and slightly intrigued. I'm intrigued because I love the character, the titular character. It's basically, as I've said, it's basically about this street cop who gets an android as a partner. And I'm fascinated by the android character because the way that they've played it is that this android character is super new. Like, it's not still a prototype, so he's learning how to human, essentially. He is super duper logical. Like, he will recite dictionary definitions and probabilities and things like that. And he doesn't even try to hide the fact that he's an android. Like, the cop's coworker doesn't know that he's an android. So whenever the cop and the android are like in front of this other cop, the android will be like, yeah, so my programming dictates, and it's like not even subtle, and it's hilarious. But at the same time, they underutilize that premise somehow. And also, it's a cop show. It's propaganda, and it's like, I wish I could outright hate this. Like, it is. Everything else about this show is fucking terrible. I would not actually recommend watching it. It is painful. It is 70s cheese. It is terrible writing. Even the android will actually kind of get is very grating. Like the actor is not bad to look at. Like oh wait, I am bisexual kind of, or I am biromantic kind of levels of okay, he's not bad to look at. But his voice. So anyway, this is relevant to the icebreaker because one of the wildest ideas I've ever had was actually something similar, in which a teenager manages to befriend, or she's basically hired to protect somebody that she eventually learns is actually an android. And androids in the universe I'm talking about now are ubiquitous. Basically, they are iPads with legs and human faces. But she's hired to protect this specific one, who turns out to be the only android with actual free will. And I wrote that as a fan fiction for a fandom where you could do that way back in the day, and that was actually the last long fan fiction that I had ever written. The second wildest idea is, of course, probably always the Bridesmaid, which involves a sentient library, and we won't get into it, because then I'd get off topic, and also because it's on the back burner. I swear it's going to get finished, and the plot is like all over the place, and I cannot describe it right now. But regarding this android fanfiction, I had thought about bringing it or filing off the serial numbers and turning it into original fiction, but then I accidentally just abandoned the idea. Now I'm kind of thinking of like borrowing elements and being like, all right, I'm going to do fix-it-fic of this fucking cop series from the 1970s, because this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't know why I keep on watching this. It is like a car accident in slow motion, but I want to write like a story in which somebody fucking steals the android and basically teaches help deprograms the cop out of him. But because yeah, like Cryptic says, I love stories with characters learning how to be human. So do I. Like, this could have been the funniest and coolest premise of, like, 1976, and yet they fucking squandered the shit out of it. On a cop show, no less. Like, damn. Anyway, So that is the idea, essentially. And the funniest part about this idea is that I looked it up, and the reason why the show was canceled... Well, actually, I say that also as if the person I learned this from didn't actually say it himself, but the reason why it was canceled is because Harlan Ellison sued ABC because he claimed that they stole the idea from him. So it's like stealing stealing from ABC and Harlan Ellison, which is very lucrative. Because, like, I do credit Harlan Ellison with a lot of things. Like, he actually did some really important nonfiction nonfiction essays on gang culture back in the 80s. And I personally think that it offered insight in a way that nobody else was daring to offer, if you know what I mean. So I give him that, and I do also give him the idea that, or I do give him a lot of credit for a lot of really interesting sci-fi ideas. But Harlan Ellison himself was a dick, so... Anyway, I can only imagine how many people I've already chased off. It's like, we have barely gotten 15 minutes in, and I've already ranted about politics on the internet, propaganda shows of the 1970s. Like, I swear to God, I am more of a leftist than any of this topic leads on. I just feel like, I mean, is it... On the other hand, I am proposing that we remove the android from the cop environment, and actually, the idea is that the daughter of the creator of this android steals him from her parents and then dumps him off on her hacker ex-girlfriend to essentially turn off all the tracking and whatnot, and then those two disaster lesbians essentially reprogram him to be an ally of the people, as it were. And I came up with this in an afternoon, and I don't even know if I'm actually going to write it, but it just, like, it would be a lot of fun. And I think that's also my problem. I keep on coming up with ideas that are a lot of fun, and I'm like, I need to finish one. Like, I don't know. I should talk also. We only have 5 minutes, and I haven't even gone back to the chat, but, like, we also had Blue Pit recently. And on the one hand, I am very much encouraged by the fact that a whole bunch of people still want to see the Nameless song published because there was a definite interest in it. On the other hand, it's far less than I usually get. So, like, in a way, I kind of am afraid that people are tired of me talking about this, especially since I've been working on this for a couple of years and there's no movement. And meanwhile, people that I participate alongside in the first Blue Pit are already, like, querying or published already. And it's rough because, like, I want to finish something and I want to put something out there, but, like I keep falling backwards and I keep getting burned out, and it's been just rough. So I do need to finish something, and I need to put it out there because like I feel like I'm losing stuff. You know, I'm losing. You know, people won't be as excited to see it TNS when it comes out. You know. So there's that. Anyway, back to the chat. Let's see. This Cryptic says about the idea. This one's new to you. Tonight I'm planning on working on a work in progress I came up with where some of the main characters are eldritch beings representing the stages of grief. I like that. It's meant to be more like stuff like Welcome Home than a traditional story, following these characters who are supposed to have their own show that kept showing up in random other shows, except that their show and all their crossover episodes have disappeared basically. Traditional book might be the better one, better way to say it. I'm tired, TBH. Okay. Punctuation there. Anyway, that sounds interesting. So basically you're telling it like a website that's hunting for the lost media of this, because that's what Welcome Home is. And if so, that would be fucking rad. Or even like, if you mean more like it's not traditionally told in general, I'm still all for it because art is a fantastic broad medium, and I am very much a sucker of people just like using all kinds of methods to tell a story. That's why I actually do like Welcome Home, because like it's not like the analog horror videos that you see all over the place that are basically like the same Mandela Catalog or Local 58 or Walton File ripoffs, you know? So like it'd be nice to check that out. Cryptic also says, I eagerly await the day you're ready to go back to Always the Bridesmaid. It will happen someday, I promise. Cryptic says, well, I'm still here. Welcome to the Can't Finish Club. We're going to get jackets, but we never finished designing them. That's funny. Cryptic says, I mean, I'm still excited for TNS, but I get you. Yeah, I need to get out of my head about it. Like I said, there are people who are still excited for it. So Cryptic says, yeah, that's what I want to do with bits of scripts, audio clips from the episodes, etc. I did come up with this idea while I was super into Welcome Home. I would totally follow that, so I fully encourage that. That said, it is 8:59. We should get ready for the first sprint. I am still working on Bohemia, though. We are not Bohemia, Bee Slingers. Bohemia is the November project. But Bee Slingers, which is Western bees and lesbian cowgirls. But we are up to nearly 25,000, and we are going to cross that threshold tonight. But that having been said, back straight in the chair. Deep breath in, as much as you can with the air quality alert. And slowly out. One more time. And then slowly out. 20 minutes are on the clock. Get ready. Get set. Here we go. Good luck. Alright, that is the first of 3 sprints that we've gotten down. How did we do? Let's see. I only got 266 words, which is not bad. I had to stop in the middle of it because, reasons. Like I said, I'm probably not infected or anything like that, but I am still kind of anxious, and I did eat stuff that's, kind of leaving me blah. I hope it's just like the regular garden variety blah and not other kind of blah, but we'll find out tomorrow, will we? Whenever I'm sure things kind of like... So like I said, last week, on Thursday, I had ordered another round of groceries, which included a lot of fresh vegetables and whatnot, including greenhouse-grown lettuce, cherries, peaches, and plums, and salsa, Tostino's salsa. So here's the thing, leafy greens and pre-made salsa are on the list of the no-no foods. So, on the other hand, I am telling myself that part of the usual canning process in commercial canners is that the food is actually heated up. So they say that it's like pre-made salsa, but it's more like store pre-made salsa. But also, who fucking knows? I don't know the exact practice. As for the lettuce, I kind of hope that because it's not fucking Taylor Farms, I would never get fucking Taylor Farms anyway. They have shit, absolute shit produce. But also, it's greenhouse grown, not like field grown. So I'm hoping that's fine. But we'll see, like I said, like I keep on saying. Basically, I'm watching myself for the next week solid, and it's great. I fucking hate... See, this is what I was about to rant about, because, and why I keep on saying I'm about to snap, because I already have health anxiety. I've already been through a whole bunch of health bullshit earlier this year with abdominal issues. Specifically, I've even been on antibiotics at some point because the first theory was that it was a UTI, the abdominal issues. So it's like a whole bunch of bullshit, and all of a sudden we're facing more bullshit, and it's entirely preventable. But because this country has decided that it doesn't need standards because corporate greed is far more important, we're just going to put millions of people's lives at risk and dictate the fact that poor people just don't get to eat anymore. So I'm just so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired of everything in this. I I am so sorry about the politics. You know me. Like that was the entire point of the rant earlier, in the first 15 minutes. Like I don't talk about politics because I don't find it productive. But and I don't find ranting about the U.S. productive on a platform like Blue Sky. Who's that going to help? It just I don't. I just kind of feel like I don't want to talk about it all that often because I keep on saying I much prefer doing something about it, not just ranting online and for what? Like to feel superior that I'm on the right side of history, like that helps exactly nobody what I have to say. But having been said, it doesn't mean that I'm not angry. I am very angry, and I've been angry for 2 years. And it shouldn't. This should not be the straw that. It's not the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it is like such. Mm, it's a universal thing, and we can't trust our own food, and we can't escape this. It's everywhere, and a lot of people cannot leave this country. We cannot choose to grow our own food. We don't always have the time to do like whole heads of lettuce, and even then, that's like you can't trust that either right now. And this is basically how it is. Like, you're worn down, you're poor, essentially, and you're stuck. And then what can you do? Except just wait. And I mean, obviously, continue protesting and working and putting in the work wherever you can. But I don't know. Like, we have to reconcile also with what happened in elections not too long ago and how we wound up here again. So, what can you do? Anyway, I hope that all I'm feeling is just garden variety ailments from eating overcooked beans. But we'll see. And if I'm sick, actually sick, then I don't know. What can you say? Anyway, point is, that's why I only got 260 words. I'm hoping that the next round will be a little bit more. I guess I'm also kind of, in general, not super in the mood at the moment. Like, I am going to push myself to get at least 1,000 tonight. Not necessarily during the stream, but in general, because I want to maintain that 1,000 word count per day. Because I want, the entire point is that I build up a habit and also try to find something that I love about writing at the moment. Because it feels like everything just kind of. It's also probably not helping that it's like. TMI, but it's like that moment, you know the one. So when that comes around, my depression gets all kinds of fun. So I do apologize if I'm not my usual cheery self. I am hanging in there as best as I can in the heat amidst an outbreak while the sky is on fire and it's another work day. What can you do, really? But anyway, I feel like let me also talk about Beastlingers too, because we are halfway through the month and also almost halfway through the draft. Right now, we are at a part, essentially what Save the Cat calls the Dark Night of the Soul. So we are actually just past the midpoint, uh, careening towards the end of Act 2, and we're just about to go into Act 3, and we are only about 25,000 words, so that might not be great. I am definitely going to lengthen it, and I think once I rewrite the first 7 chapters, I will. I think that's part of it. The first 7 chapters, the first chapter is amazing. I rewrote it already, and I'm going to keep it as is. The only thing that I might do is tweak things a little bit, because I also feel like Honeysuckle is not coming out the way that I want her to. She's too meek, and like all of my promotional materials is lit, and all the times that I've talked about her, she's supposed to be like this chaotic bee gremlin who likes stabbing things, and the only reason why she doesn't stab the antagonist herself is because she thinks that she, as a bee, cannot do that. Essentially, she thinks that, like, she's a gremlin, but she knows her limitations. She knows that she will be bodied immediately if she tries to do it herself. So she hires a bunch of gunslingers to help her figure out how to do that. Uh, but right now, like, the beginning of the story kind of took that away from her right off the bat, because instead of having this be her idea, I had it be a bunch of elder bees sending her out. And I'm like, hold on a second. Why did I do that? And I think it's just because I didn't want this to be literally a Bug's Life, just Western and with bees. So, but I think I do need to tweak it a little bit more, give her her agency back, which might also kind of like bring in Peony a little bit, because Peony came in like she was there in the first chapter, but she wasn't actually a character until halfway through the words that I have now, when I was like, oh, Peony is Honeysuckle's. It's complicated. Like, they're not actually romantic partners. But it's only because they were supposed to have a mentor-student relationship before they landed in San Valentino. And once they landed in San Valentino, everybody got forced into the mines, and now they don't really have time or energy for the interpersonal relationships that they want. So technically, like, over time and through interactions, Honeysuckle and Peony did develop feelings for each other beyond just mentor and student, but they don't have the time to act on it. So, or even like fully solidify or talk about who they are to each other. So as far as they know, Honeysuckle has a crush on Peony, Peony has a crush on Honeysuckle. They're both kind of aware. They might have a feeling that the other reciprocates, but they have never had a conversation about it. So I want to kind of like develop that a little bit more, because this is supposed to be also a sapphic story without actually being a romance. I am slowly getting Jane and Leha, who are the 2 lesbians that I was thinking about specifically whenever I was talking about how this is lesbian cowgirls. I kind of have them, but it's like from Honeysuckle's perspective, so it's like Honeysuckle is watching Jane and Leha interact and be cute together, and she's thinking about herself and Peony. Or just sort of like puzzling over, is that what it looks like to be in love? Or, hey, I know this. Oh, these 2 are together, that kind of thing. So it's not like told from their perspective. But it would be interesting to develop it more and make this more sapphic. So I have a running list of notes of things that I want to change in like ellipsis somewhere, and those few things are on it. So, anyway, Cryptic also says, I think I'm about halfway through the scene I'm writing, page and a half so far. That is excellent. And we are at the 1 minute warning. Oh, warning, sorry, not warning. Anyway, right now though, I don't know how I feel about Beastlingers. Like, it's coming. There's bits that I love and bits that just kind of feel like I'm still trudging through. And right now, this is a chapter that kind of feels like I'm trudging through. And hopefully on the other side it will be easier. Last chapter was a... Excuse me. Sorry about that if you caught that sneeze. Last chapter was a lot of fun. That was when shit kind of hit the fan and there were character revelations and a lot happening all at once, but now it's just like chill and coming down from all that. Cryptic says, I might have to BRB during the next sprint. Bless you. Thank you. And totally okay. Do what you need to do. We still have 2 more sprints left, so you can totally miss this next one. On that note, just about ready to start. 20 minutes are on the clock. Good luck, everybody. is sprint number 2. Cryptic is currently BRB'd, so I'm not even going to ask, but if you have joined us, please feel free to drop into the chat how well you've done. As for me, 451 words, significantly better than the first sprint. And just for funsies, let's see. We're at 717 words, so hopefully within the next sprint or two we should be fine. Still feeling a little off, I admit, so this will definitely be the last sprint. For me anyway. Then, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to, I'll definitely reach the end of the chapter. It's only a little bit longer. Right now, we've got 2 of the 4 lesbian gunslingers talking about why they should continue on with this plan. The tracker has escaped with Honeysuckle, and now they're in hiding, and somehow the marksman had found them. And the marksman is kind of like a little bit of a coward, but not really. It's more like she likes guns ablazing, but at the same time, she is in it for herself, essentially. But the tracker is a little bit more sympathetic towards the Zizun in general. So, and on top of that, she is also very fiercely loyal to the 2 party members who aren't there, one of whom is, of course, Jane, her lover. So she's not willing to leave and give up anything. So it's kind of like a little bit of a standoff. It's going to be easily resolved. I do actually have a plan. I'm not struggling with that part. Right now, Honeysuckle is also explaining to them why her swarm can't just leave. And this is actually kind of funny because, like, I was talking in the last break about how not everybody can leave, and that is very true. It is a privilege to say that when things get tough, you can just up and relocate. But that's more related to the state of things in general at the moment. But with the Zizun, at least, they cannot leave because they can't abandon their queen. Now here's the thing. I am going to talk about Zizun habits and biology for a little bit. And also honeybee biology. But fun fact, I am going to just go off about honeybees for a second. Fun fact. The honeybee queen is not actually a ruler of the colony. She is the all-mother, basically. That's why she's so important. She's the one who lays every single egg in a honeybee hive. She's the one who decides who's the workers and who's the drones. She's the only one out of all of the bees who can do that. That's the only power that she has. For everything else, it's the honeybee workers who decide everything about the colony. Honeybee scouts, who are workers, honeybee workers go out and scout out new homes. Honeybee workers maintain the hive. Honeybee workers even decide whether or not the queen is worthy of keeping. Like, if a queen can no longer lay eggs, then the honeybee workers will raise a new larva to become a queen, and that queen will kill off the older queen if the workers don't do it themselves. In most cases, the new queen will kill the old queen, but now and then honeybee workers will ball up their queen, meaning they will huddle around in a very tight ball, biting and stinging their queen and vibrating, and in some breeds, vibrating their bodies so much that they essentially cook the queen inside this ball of bees. Literally, they kill her. But also, it's it's a little bit cute as well because honeybee workers also decide when it's time to swarm. So if a honeybee hive gets to be too crowded with bees, they'll be like, all right, you have your queen cells. One of them will hatch into a strong queen. Good luck to half of the hive. The other half will be like, all right, queen, we're ready to fly. And literally, they will drag the queen outside and force her to fly with them. That's also why you don't never clip the queen. Like, that's why clipping the queen is actually inhumane. So there's a practice called clipping the queen. And what that literally means is that a beekeeper will take the queen and cut off her wings. And the idea is that you're stopping the hive from swarming, except for the fact that the hive will swarm regardless. It's just that if the queen's wings are gone, they'll push her out of the hive and she'll basically drop to the ground because she can't fly. And they abandon her. So it's actually, in my opinion, like, I'm no bee expert, obviously, but I personally think that queen clipping is inhumane and it creates more dangerous hives or more dangerous swarms because you no longer have the queen who will keep all of the bees together. All of the bees in a swarm will generally huddle around the queen because it's her pheromone that helps guide them to a new home and tells them, okay, the queen is over here, so we go over here. And usually over here means new home. So without that, then you still have a swarm. There's a queenless swarm, but those bees are basically going to die on the road. They'll be all over the place because they don't have that one thing keeping them together. It's just all in all just bad for the bees and also bad for anybody who stumbles across those bees. So there's all of that. Long story short, honeybee swarm can totally exist. They are not led by the queen, but the queen is still like the most important thing that they take with them out of the hive. It's honestly the only thing that they take out with them. In Zizun culture, the Zizun queen is a little bit similar. The exception is that any Zizun can lay eggs, and any Zizun can lay fertilized eggs. It's just that workers, unlike with honeybees, because if a honeybee worker tries to lay eggs, she will only hatch drones, because drones only have one set of DNA. Every living thing, whenever you have a fertilized egg, it has a set of DNA from the mother and a set from the father. Or a set of genes from the mother and a set from the father. But with honeybee drones, or with honeybees in general, they can have eggs that have only one set of genetic material from the mother. What that turns into is a male only. Are males only, the honeybee drones, because the idea is that the drones carry off genetic material, essentially the hive's signature, and then they keep the hive going, as it were, the hive's genetic source going in another hive. So that is why when you have no queen, workers get desperate and start laying everywhere because they're desperately trying to make drones to keep their genetics alive. But in Zizun of any caste can lay eggs except for the drones because drones only have penises. The workers, however, can have anything, but they can only lay more workers. It's the queen who lays the drones. She can lay workers, or she can lay workers that are strong enough to be turned into Princess Zizun, aka queens. Anyway, ultimately though, even then, a Zizun queen, her importance is not in her breeding. Uh, although that is a way for Zizun kind of consider that as an important thing to keep their colony alive and continuing onwards. But the queen is essentially a cultural figurehead, a cultural and political figurehead. It's the queen's duty to archive all the stories regarding the colony and to teach younger Zizun about what Zizun culture is. It's also her duty to serve as the representative of their colony to other colonies or outsiders, that kind of thing, because especially to outsiders, because they mistake the term queen, or they see this tall bee and they're like, ah, you must be the leader. So it's kind of like a Zizun cultural thing to have the queen just interface with everybody else. But Zizun can totally move on. It's just that they don't want to leave behind their queen because it means leaving behind a part of their hive. It means leaving behind the cultural cornerstone of their hive, and also a figure that they all universally care about and love and adore. Because most Zizun colonies, they fully embrace their queen as almost like everybody's mom, essentially. So this colony could move on, absolutely. They can survive, they can find another colony to merge with and to thrive, but they don't because they don't want to leave behind this person that they all love. And it's very cute, but that is what Honeysuckle is trying to explain. And it also is why they all have free will, but none of them has wanted to leave the mines or anything like that, because they are afraid that if they do, then something is going to happen to their queen. And also, they want to figure out how to get their queen back. It's like an entire thing. They are so cute. I love them so much. I love bees too, but every single thing that I've been designing with the Zizun has just made them cuter and cuter. Cryptic says, I am back. Ice cream enjoyed, cats fed, ready to hit the last sprint and hopefully finish this scene and hear about bee people. Welcome back. I have to admit that I have been wandering around my room because I just feel better in general if I do that. Although ice cream is a good idea. I have mango pops. I might get one to help cool me down. But like with the smoke, I haven't fired it. With the smoke and the storm, I hadn't fired up my AC in a bit. I should switch to that because it is hot, and that might not be helping the sickness. But I am delighted that you had ice cream and all kinds of other things. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed some parts of the bee talk, because I went on about, or I'm not even saying I went on. You all need to know how honeybee hives work, and you all need to know the fun facts about bee queens. Like, and next week I shall talk about bumblebee queens. And all kinds of other stuff. And the solitary bees. But honeybees are just like so much easier to talk about because like they're very well studied, very well understood. We know all these things about their tiniest behaviors, and they're just so cute. They're so complex and so smart. Like, I also want to talk about how it's like they can count, they can navigate, they can experience motion and recognize human faces. If there are pests in their hives, they like to corral them into little corners and then put up bee glue to keep them in bee jail. They're just so cute. And they're also good at problem solving too, although we tend to study bumblebees with that one. But honeybees very clearly do problem solve as well, and it's so adorable when they do. It's like they're tiny cats with more legs, and it's great. Anyway, 10 more seconds to go, so 20 minutes are going to be on this next clock, and we'll talk about the schedule for this coming week as well, as soon as after this sprint. But that said, Cryptic says, I just looked at my notebook and realized that this might be more than one scene, lol. Totally cool. You keep on going. Good luck, everybody. Oh, a new person just joined. So it's actually a writing stream. We do little word sprints, which means that we're all basically co-writing. We have 20 minutes to write as much as possible, and then at the 20 minutes we talk about whatever. We are actually currently in a writing sprint right now, so I admit I might go quiet, but it's 100% writing here. Also, hello, welcome. Feel free to chat about yourself and whatnot in the chat, and you know. Comic Man says, "Oh, nice! I'm trying to get back into writing. Excellent, excellent. Pull up something, you know, even like a notebook, and write down your stream of thoughts. We do this several times a week, and in fact, after the sprint, I'll tell you when the next one is. But yeah, just like pull up your project and join us." Comic Fan says, I have a big day tomorrow, so I'm gonna try to sleep, but I'll subscribe and tune into the next stream. Totally. Thank you for dropping by. Just as a summary, our next stream is actually going to be on Saturday morning. So if you're a morning person, tune into this channel at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and we'll be sprinting then too. Otherwise, we do this every single Wednesday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Hope to see you again soon. Comic Man says, before I go, the wildest idea I've had is a three-perspective story about three childhood friends who diverged across completely different styles of life, only to be forced together when Yellowstone erupts. That sounds awesome. I hope that is the one that you will bring to this to the next stream, because that sounds like something I would definitely read. Anyway, good night, take care, and hope to see you again soon. was the last sprint. How did we do? I logged 492 words, and that is chapter 11 done and dusted. So, all in all, a very productive sprint. So, I'm excited. That is also perfect timing. I think I finished like with 3 minutes to go, so I just have been sitting here just resting for a bit. But, you know how I don't like to start a new chapter at the end of a stream. So that's all we're going to be doing today. Let me look at the chat real quick. Let's see. Comic Man seems nice. I hope he does come back. So that's pretty cool. We have a new viewer. Hell yeah. Let's see. I know that he's gone, so I'm not actually going to touch too much. Cryptic says, me too, actually. Technically, this is me doing therapy homework. My therapy homework. Hell yeah. High five. Okay, skipping comic band stuff to Cryptic. I finished the second scene of this little chunk I've been writing, and I am very proud of myself. I'll have to do the rest of what I have planned later. Hell yeah, we do love a productive night. Like, all things considered, tonight was actually really nice. Like, I know that I ranted a lot today, and I know that I've been saying that I was not super duper happy, but you know, there was a lot that was not that bad. Or at least, I mean, I feel a lot better now. Both physically and just emotionally. Like, thank you for letting me rant a little bit. I feel a lot more, a lot calmer, anyway. Cryptic says, I haven't written anything in months, so it feels so good. I'm also glad that, I was able to drag you back into doing stuff. That's what these sprints are all about. I know that I had gotten rusty over the past few months because shenanigans in real life, and getting back into it this month and technically last month has been so good. So I am definitely looking forward to continuing on with all this stuff. Cryptic says, my therapy homework specifically is trying to write at least one scene a week. There you go. And Cryptic also says, I like being able to let you rant. Oh, thank you. No matter how incendiary I get. Like, I know that a lot of what I'm saying is not a hot take. Like, I talked a lot about how I don't talk about stuff online because action and whatnot. But honestly, that's only a hot take for those of you for people for online spaces which are toxic pools where you don't get anything done anyway. Like I have met so many people. I've met a lot of really good people on Blue Sky, but I've also met a lot of folks who talk about how radical they are, but they only are radical online. They don't actually engage offline, or if they do, they never mention it, and all of their action online is basically just policing other people. There's only one person I've met who kind of like goes into threads and teaches people about things, but they actually genuinely do the homework, and they are activists online in the sense that their entire thing is education. So like, I'm okay with them. But like, I've also met people who only use politics and political things to talk about how they're victimized, and I'm like, you're not helping anybody. I'm sorry. So, that was probably a hot take, blazing in the sun take. But you know what? I feel safe telling you that if you are going to be the kind of person who goes onto somebody else's space and tries to start fights with them, even if they're also doing their best to improve the world a little bit, then you have to back it up with something. Like that's the closest thing that I will ever do to policing what you can say. Like, if you cannot be a decent person to your fellow leftist, then online, then be a decent person to your fellow leftist offline. Like, go fucking volunteer for something. Like, don't just jump down the throat of every person online that you find because you feel like you can. Like, you are doing more of a disservice to any sort of movement than you realize. And that is all I will say about that, honestly, because, like, I could go on. I could really go on. But on top of that, I am also angry at the world, as everybody else is, and as most people are. I look towards the environment and I think about how when I was a kid it wasn't this hot, and I think about the declining bee populations and why they're declining. I think about all the wildflowers we cut down for data centers, and I think about how I'm pretty sure even 10 years ago, we didn't have a raging forest fire that blew smoke over the city every other year. And I think about how we did have frequent outbreaks, but we were getting better. And now it feels like nobody in charge cares enough to, or they have their own weird ass pseudoscientific bullshit going on that means that they're going to just let us all die instead of do things that are instead of actually doing work that keeps us all protected. And I think about how we keep on getting distracted by a million little things, and by we I don't just mean like on stupid reflecting pool bullshit. I just mean in general we keep on getting distracted by all these little things. And I have always said that distraction is the worst part, is the biggest hurdle that is stopping us from enacting the change that we're, well, not really stopping, but it's slowing our progress. And what can you say at this point? I know I keep on politically ranting. Ultimately, though, you do what you can to control the bit of world that you can control. You worry about, or in other words, you worry about the things you can control, and you try not to let the things you can't destroy you. So, that is the ultimate lesson. And that is why I post about bees so often, and that is why I do what I can. I don't let myself get distracted by only ever talking about stuff online. I talk a lot about the environment, and I do my best to support and do my best to do research into which organizations support the environment and what I can do on a personal level to support the bees. I I kill the spotted lanternflies. I nudge or I pick bees up and put them in flowers when I see them. It's the small things, But like, I could be angry all the time, and I am angry all the time, but at the same time, I still need to go to do a job because I still have $9,000 on 2 different cards, credit cards, and my ex is never getting his shit back or even talking to me again, and fuck everything. But I keep on going, and I find the things that bring me joy, and I talk about those. And I talk about those online to keep myself going. And when I have the ability to do more, then I do more, but I do it offline. And I do it in ways that just is within my capability. That's all. But this is all rambly. Ultimately, yeah, like I said, it's control the things that you can control, and don't let the other things get you down. Save the bees. If you find one crawling across the sidewalk because it's hot where you are, find a flower, put it on a flower. It'll be fine in about half an hour. And just keep your head above water and keep going. Don't eat leafy greens. Don't worry about the leafy greens you did eat. Take everything one day at a time and keep going. And eventually, somehow, there will be an opportunity for change. I do not know what that looks like. I can't even promise what that looks like. But I can promise that this world has never ever been stagnant. Empires have always come and they have always gone. Dictators have always come, they've always gone. There will always be another sunrise, and what that looks like, you just have to wait around and see what it looks like. But the possibility that that sunrise will be a good one is not zero. And always live for the possibility of good things not being zero, you know? Anyway, Cryptic says, right, like, listen, some people have some really radical opinions, but if you don't do anything with that, then it doesn't mean much. Exactly. Cryptic says, no problem on the not eating leafy greens front. There you go. Honestly, lettuce is poop leaves anyway. I mean, I was getting back into it because they do taste good, and on it, I've been subsisting on kale for a long while, and kale is also on the list of things you shouldn't eat right now. Like, I love me my salads. I'm sorry. I need fiber in general. I need my leafy greens of some variety, but I think it's just like I'm gonna have to cook the leafy greens for the next several months until they finally fucking pinpoint where this is coming from. But they aren't going to, because the reflecting pool is more important. Fuck this, seriously. I'm not gonna get angry. I'm not gonna get angry. Not now. Because we need to talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. Cryptic says, listen, I can't get past the fact that it feels like eating a leaf off a tree. My brain goes, this is not food. I should not eat this. I'm sorry, but as soon as you said leaf off the tree, I couldn't help but remember that in some parts of Japan, Kansai specifically, it is considered an autumn delicacy to take maple leaves and deep fry them. So, like, you can eat anything, my dude. Apparently. I mean, almost anything, obviously. Like, go subscribe to the Black Forager. It's not the Black Forager. Her name is just Black Forager. She is a fantastic resource, by the way. She is a very adorable, but also, like, very knowledgeable forager. And she will show you plants that are native to the United States that you can literally just pick out and eat at any location. And it's surprising how much of our greenery is actually fully edible, so long as they're not covered in pesticides, pollution, or shit bacteria. But yeah, go subscribe to Black Forager. She's fantastic. Cryptic says, couldn't be me. Glad they like it, and also subscribed. Hell yes, I love her so much, and she's also a fantastic resource in general for, like, if you're doing a fantasy novel and you're writing about characters who are in the wild and they have to, like, even like cottagecore, either cottagecore vibes or like you're talking about a bunch of characters camping out in the middle of the wilderness. Go and subscribe to her, because now you will know what you can and cannot eat out there. And it's surprising. Like, there are some things I've never heard of, and some things I had and didn't realize were actually edible. So, I have rambled so much that the other timer had gone off. So let's talk about the rest of the week, shall we? Before I get more distracted. All right, so as I was telling Comic Man just a moment ago, the next guaranteed stream is going to be this coming Saturday, the 18th at 8:30 a.m. Now, I will warn you right now that that is going to be a 3-sprint stream, and I am going to be leaving as soon as that third sprint goes off. The reason why is because I need to do big girl things, or big nebulous blob things, aka go to the DMV. Figures. Anyway, that is going to be my Saturday. It's going to be so much fun. I definitely love doing that, but it is a thing that I have to do. So so the Saturday morning stream is going to go by quickly, and then that's all you'll get in. That is all I'm giving you. But then after that, I have no real solid plans. Next week, the 22nd, on Wednesday, will be our next night rights. That starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, our guaranteed streams are in the morning of the 18th at 8:30 a.m. and the evening of the 22nd, 8:30 p.m. Now, how about special streams? As I said, I don't really have too many plans, but I kind of do want to rest and relax. This week has been just so off the wall that I kind of just want to do my words and vegetate. So, probably not tomorrow. Maybe Friday, we'll see. Then Sunday, again, no plans. And let me just quickly browse what Sunday actually looks like anyway. Sunday looks like showers and thunderstorms, and this astrophobe will probably be huddled up in my bedroom crying. So probably on Sunday we might have a stream, we'll see. Then so far surprise streams might happen on Friday and Sunday. And again, nothing on Monday and Tuesday because those days are usually the worst days of my week. So, to refresh, Friday and Sunday, go follow jacksdevora.bsky.social for additional information on whether or not we have streams. That's where I announce them first. You can hit the bell on YouTube, but you will only be notified when a stream starts. I do not use the community tab whatsoever. I probably should, but I just don't. So go on Blue Sky, follow Jax Devora, and that's where I will make any announcements about surprise streams. Otherwise, guaranteed stream on the 18th in the morning, guaranteed stream on the 22nd in the evening. That is all she wrote. That having been said, I am going to wrap things up here. I've already logged my progress on Trackbear. I'm going to make the post on Blue Sky, and then I'm just going to like vegetate or finish the episode of the really bad 70s Android cop show that I found, and then also definitely not like do little character sketches of a fix-it fic in which somebody steals the android and reprograms him to fight for the people and push back against an authoritarian government and shenanigans, and it's going to be a plot bunny that I have stuck at the very end of the things that I'm working on. I am not going to be doing that. I have 3 story ideas that people do want to see right now, and then a 4th if we count Always the Bridesmaid. I am not going to go after android shenanigans, but I am probably going to watch the rest of that episode and curl up and probably just video game for the rest of the evening. But until then, meaning until I see you again, whether that's going to be Friday or Saturday, take care of yourselves. Like, if you're in the area, also in the New York area, first off, hi, we need to meet up. No, I'm kidding, we don't, unless unless people want to have a writing meetup, please, please, please. Um, in all seriousness, if you're in the New York area, stay safe. It is still very hot. The smoke will still continue tomorrow. Just keep an eye on yourself. And of course, take care of yourselves in general. It is a very weird summer, and it's only continuing onwards into August. We are halfway through July. Can you believe that? But in any case, also stay hydrated. Definitely important for right now. Know that I love you, and get plenty of rest. And I will see you either Friday or Saturday. Take care, everybody. Good night. Cryptic says, I'll try to make it to any surprise streams. If I don't, I'll see you Wednesday. I will see you later. Thank you also for coming, Cryptic and everybody else. Good night, everybody.